Hello YouTube, it's me Toyworld Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the final end of month bot haul of 2021. That is December 2021. This is the final day of the year, and yes, I've got all the figures that I picked up this month. And if you look above me, I've got all the bots that I showed you in the last couple of days on my best bots and worst bots lists. They're all listed up there, apart from two figures which are now down here as part of the haul of the bots that I got this month. So yes, we're finally at the end of 2021. It's been a long haul. I mean, another year that's been heavily tainted by the COVID crisis. I think we're in for the long haul with this. Yeah, it's probably been a couple of years, well, at least 1 to 2 years more of this nonsense before we finally get the better of it. But that remains to be seen. Right, yeah, so this is my end of month bot haul. I've got 16 items to show you that I got over the course of the month. I will show you them in sort of chronological order that I picked them up. I've got a few props in front of me to a couple of. I want to talk about the bots in a little bit more detail, that as and when and whys and whatnots, how I got them. So let's make a start, shall we? Also, on my best and worst bots video, I had that chapters thing. It seems to be working quite well. I don't know whether anybody's been using it to skip through the videos, to skip past me rabbiting on unnecessarily about the bots that I picked up. But yeah, I will be running chapters on this video as well, so that you can skip through if you want. Because this video is no doubt going to run out to over an hour the way I like to carry on, and I've got a sizable haul here to get through. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So, okay, the first thing to arrive, well, the first two items to arrive on December the 3rd, the first thing was this. Toyworld FS02 Fierce Hot. It's their version of the World War II hot rod from the Last Night movie. That sequence, that's set in World War II. We had Bumblebee and Hot Rod with the Allied forces while they were attacking this. I think it was a French villa that was occupied by the German forces. So this is his robot mode. Now, obviously, we have had another version of this figure, and it is the Studio Series hot rod. And as you can see, if you look at the two side by side, obviously you can see he's about the same size, but the weight of this thing and the sizable lack of egregious kibble which the the official toy has got. Yeah, so this thing looks awesome in robot mode. It's got all the paint, it's got all the detail. It transforms into a realistic alt mode. It's a German sort of like military vehicle, Steyr. Was it a Steyr something or other? Anyway, it looks really good in alt mode. However, this figure has got numerous sort of QC inconsistencies. There's a lot of joints on this figure that just don't work. I mean, the ball joints on the shoulders, for instance. Yeah. The ab crunch is a bit loose. When you're transforming it, it's a hellish transformation to get this thing from robot mode into vehicle mode. I don't know, well, or vice versa. Well, definitely going from vehicle to robot is the only transformation I've done in it so far, and it was not fun. It was not intuitive. It was really hellish, and there's an inconsistency, like I said, in joint tolerances between the various parts, and yeah, it's a shame. It was in the running for the worst bot I got this month because of those reasons, but it looks awesome. It looks awesome in both modes. Well, actually, the alt mode is a little bit, it's got a lot of pan lines in it, and because it's got so many joints that form the vehicle mode, it doesn't sit straight. It's kind of got like an arch in its back where it's trying to push itself apart. But it's a decently heavy bot. It's got die-cast, a lot of die-cast joints on it. Yes, it's got, some joints are tight, some joints are loose. There's a lot of inconsistencies going on with this mould. But, you know, I'm a Toyworld fanboy. You know, I wanted to buy this thing anyway, even though I've got the, you know, the Hasbro Studio Series version of this character from the Last Night movie. I wanted to get this one as a comparison, and when you look at the two together, there is no comparison. I mean, we all know how bad the Studio Series figure is. It's an awful thing, but this is, for the most part, it looks really good, but, you know, it does have its issues. It's got like a really bad transformation. It's got inconsistency of joint tolerance, but yet the paintwork on it, the moulding, the engineering is right up there. But it's just a shame the whole ensemble as a figure doesn't quite work out. And like I said, I've got one with some slight dodgy issues on it. But he was on the candidate. He was for the most part of the month. He was, you know, he was a candidate for the worst bot I got this month. But then I got something else at the end of the month which just trumped him. So anyway, so that's Toyworld Fierce Hot. On the same day, another figure arrived. It was a Hasbro Pulse, sort of pre-order I placed a couple of months ago. Buzzworthy Origins Bumblebee. Now, I've got him in alt mode. And obviously, I've watched a couple of videos in the last couple of days. Top bots or worst bot videos from various people. And this character's coming for a little bit of flack from certain people. I mean, Toys R Us and Vector Prime Reviews have both, criticised it for, in alt mode, there's different, 3 different shades of plastic over the course of the thing. Some bits are painted, other bits are just yellow plastic, and there's no, it looks like a patchwork of various colours. And then you've got the black lines from the black parts underneath that are like sort of showing through in some of the cracks. And some people don't like that, and I totally get that opinion. I myself bought this because I'm not a huge fan of Bumblebee, but when I saw how this thing turns into a bot that looks like G1 Bumblebee, I thought, now that must have some pretty crazy engineering, and it does. The way that this thing works is pretty incredible. Yes, the robot mode's got a bunch of kibble on it because of it, but it's actually not bad. I mean, I don't dislike this thing, but I don't particularly love it either. I decided to get it, and it's all right. It's okay. I pre-ordered it because I saw other people, were maybe fawning over it before they got it in hand, But yeah, so yeah, I quite like it. It's all right. It's okay. It's an interesting figure, and it gives us hope that hopefully in the Buzzworthy line we're going to get like the Wheeljack as well from that iconic scene from the first episode of the cartoon series. But so I got hold of Origins Bumblebee, and he's all right. He's not too bad. I don't hate him as much as some other people do. And they both arrived on the 3rd. So moving on to the next arrival. On the 4th, I got a comic order from Comics and Cocktails came in. And so I got Beast Wars issue number 10 and King Grimlock number 4. Now, something that's happened this month is the news has leaked that IDW are more than likely going to be losing the Transformers license in 2022. And in some ways that's sad because, they've had a good run in the comics. Obviously they've had like sort of 3 different eras of the IDW. You had the original era, then you had the More Than Meets the Eye, and sort of like Optimus Prime, and like the middling era, which came to an abrupt end when Hasbro deemed that they had to finish it off with that Unicron comic, and then we had the final run of the rebooted comic series, which is running up to now. But even that's tailing off to an ending now, and makes me wonder what's going to happen. Now, I've quit the comics once already. Looks like I'm going to be quitting them again next year. I'm going to run out these comics as far as they go. I think there's only one issue of King Grimlock left. And Beast Wars, I don't know how much longer Beast Wars is going to last before they sort of like tie it up. It's a shame really because it's doing all right actually, the Beast Wars one. I'm quite enjoying it. But remains to be seen what's going to happen with IDW Comics in the new year. Looks like, it's going to be the end of IDW Comics as we know it. I don't think I'm going to buy into whatever the new Transformers comics are going to be when they come out. I think I'm going to call time on comics for good. You know, I had a good run with the Marvel G1 comics back in the day, and then I sort of got into the IDW stuff in more recent times as an adult collector, but it served its purpose, and yeah, I can take it or leave it, the comics. You know, I've had some nasty experiences with them, and I can just you know, quit comics altogether and just walk away from them. But yeah, it's sad that IDW is coming to an end, or seemingly coming to an end, but we'll just have to wait and see what the future brings. But it might be a year or two before the new Transformer comics come out, and I don't even know where I'll be interested in that. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, on the 4th, I got hold of 2 issues of current comic runs, and that was that. Right, moving forward a couple of days, we got the 7th, which was a Tuesday. Another comic came in that I ordered. Got Shattered Glass number 4. Again, Shattered Glass, I think this is a limited comic run. I don't know how many issues they're going to have for this. It's the story's barreling along quite a bit. I mean, it's unusual to see, you know, like what were heroic bots now being complete and utter, you know, bastards, you know, and fighting against the bad guys, which are now the good guys. It's, you know, it's turned the whole, you know, thing on its head. It's quite interesting. I mean, Goldbug, or Shattered Glass Goldbug, is proven to be a right arsehole, you know. It's a shame, really. I don't know. It's almost like he's got the old Napoleon complex. He likes to think that people should give him more respect than he gets. But all the bots that matter, you know, Optimus Prime and that, are just, you know, barely give him the time of day and just don't give him the credit for anything that he's done. So he's always trying to prove himself, and he's a bit of a tyrant, a bit of a bastard. You know, he's really, you know, he's got no time for, you know, tomfoolery with the heroic Decepticons. You know, he'd rather kill them than do anything else. But anyway, yeah, got that issue. It was okay. Got that from Comics and... Did that go from Comics and... No, I got this off eBay. The last 2 comics I got from Comics and Cocktails. So I got that one off eBay. And that arrived on the 7th. Right. So the next things to arrive was on the 13th. And it was my Korean toys. They both arrived together, which is weird. They sort of, you know, the postie came to the door with, I think it was it was 3 parcels. There was another item for something else that arrived at the same time. I think it was an Amazon package, but it wasn't Transformers related. Anyway, I've done reviews of these figures. And the first one, Hello Carbot Eagle Hider. Yeah, I did a review on this. I failed to notice in my review that the wings, when you fold the wings round, they actually peg into the shoulders. So that tidies his look up a bit, but it gives him sort of limited articulation on the arm because they stop the arms from moving forwards and backwards. Decent figure, nice bird mode, little bit more realistic looking bird than Kingdom Air Razor's bird mode, because Kingdom Air Razor's bird mode, it's got some proportionality issues with the bird mode, you know, especially like the length of the tail. This one's got a proper tail length for a bird of prey. I think the scale between this bird, as it's supposed to be a bald eagle, you know, the national bird of the United States of America. It's a pretty cool figure. It's, you know, usual Carbot. It's nice and solid. It's got lots of ratchets and stuff. The fact that the head is sunken down, you know, in the chest is a little unusual. It's a shame you can't pull the head up a little bit so it clears that this brow that it's got here. But that's one of my little minor gripes of this thing. It's pretty cool. It's really decent, nice big heavy figure, typical Carbot build quality, and it's part of the Hello Carbot Samba toy line, which is going on. This is only the second figure from season 11 that I've got, even though technically it's not a Samba figure because it hasn't got the Samba gimmick. But yeah, I kind of like it. It's all right. It's okay. So that's Hello Carbot Eagle Hider. And then the other figure that arrived, again, I've done a review on it. Jurassic Cops 3 Jupino. Yeah, I love the way this thing looks. I can gush all day about the look of the robot mode. It just hits me so many different sort of aesthetic angles. I mean, it looks like, you know, Captain Police from the Tobot V line. It looks like one of the the Ingram 98s from Patlabor. It looks like a Gundam or a Gunpla, but most of all, it's got that Cyberverse Soundwave vibe going on, big style. I mean, especially with this this black sort of chest and the mostly blue colours. It just reminds me of Cyberverse Soundwave, and you can actually change his head and give him a mouth plate. And who's to say that this couldn't be an alternate mode for, or this guy could as a stand-in for Cyberverse Soundwave, because Cyberverse Soundwave never really transformed in the Cyberverse show. I mean, yeah, the toy transforms into like a random blue truck, but yeah, I really love this thing. Not the most articulated figure, but it's decent and all right. It's got decent build quality, and it's also the core bot for the combiner, because all the other figures in the line, they're all raving parts formers that you take apart and plug onto this guy to make a large combiner. I'm not interested in getting those. I'm enjoying the show. I've been watching the show on eBay, on YouTube, sorry, and it's a really good show. But the toys, this is the only one I'm going to be getting, and he's all right. He's okay. I especially like the way he looks. But he's a pretty good toy, and he arrived along with my other Korean toy on the 13th. Then the next day, night. Now, this next one, did an unboxing on it. Transform Element MM02 Stinger Warrior. Now, yeah, this thing. I've got you got Transform Element doing these like Legends class sort of Beast Wars characters. They've done Black Arachnia and Rat Trap, and I've got both of those, and they're all right. They're pretty good. But then they decided to do Scorponok, and I was interested in getting it, and I tried previously to get one out of a seller on AliExpress earlier in the year. But unfortunately, it was during the depths of the COVID crisis, and something went wrong. The seller was a bit slow in shipping it, and when he shipped it, he only got as far as his local post office, and then it just sat there and festered for forever and a day. So I cancelled the order and got my money back. And then more recently, back end of November, I got a message from an AliExpress seller that I follow and saying, "Oh, we've got this thing in stock. Would you like to buy it?" And I thought, well, the price was slightly less than what I'd seen it at before, and this thing's kind of been coming up short. I don't know why. I mean, I didn't see many sellers selling this on eBay, but anyway, managed to get it, and it finally arrived on the 14th of December, and wow, it comes in sort of Scorpion mode, so you have to transform into robot, and the transformation is amazing on this thing. It's really, really cool, and what you end up with is a super screen accurate sort of figure, apart from obviously the bug's legs all tucked away in the back. But I mean, this thing's amazing. I absolutely love the way it looks. It's super heavy as well. It's got a bunch of die cast on it. He's got it's got like the little missile launchers inside his claws. It's got an awesome head sculpt. Has got a few QC issues on mine. One of the mandibles on the head kept falling off, so I had to glue it back on. It's got some indeterminate pegging issues on the figure, like the feet plug into the bug head to form the mandibles of the scorpion. They are super, super tight, and you've got to be careful when you're taking them off, else you might shear the pegs off. And yet you've got the shoulder pegs, which are kind of loose. But they're things you can fix, and I'm willing to look past the minor QC issues this thing has, because it just looks so amazing. Like I said, transforming it from insect to robot is a joy. It's absolutely amazing. It's so intuitive. It works so well. Going the other way, not so much, mainly because it's tucking the bug's legs away, and the instructions are absolutely no help whatsoever, because basically, where it does show you how the bug's legs stow away, they just put these massive great direction arrows slapped over the top of the picture, so you can't actually see how they're supposed to be configured, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, I love this thing. I think this thing's amazing. I'm hoping that Transform Element are going to do more of these Legend scale Beast Wars figures. I'll be looking to see what they're going to do next, if anything. But yeah, this is the best figure from them so far as regards to these, these Legend Scale Beast Wars element figures. It's awesome, absolutely awesome, amazing figure, love it to bits. Right, so next, right, 14th. Is it? No, not 14th. No, sorry. Next, 16th of December. Got a pre-order arrived from Kapow. Mastermind Creations Optus Nox. Yes, obviously they had the Optus Pexus figure that they released earlier in the year, and everyone was raving about how much articulation it had and all that. And when it comes to Optimus Prime, he gets awesome figures made after him. But as I'm not a fan of like vanilla coloured Optimus Prime, I prefer to get the mould if it gets repainted into alternative colours or alternative character colours, like Nemesis Prime or Ultra Magnus. So yeah, so Mastermind Creations decided to do this. Comes with a butt ton of accessories, and he's got the broken sort of face plate, with the screaming face. That's really awesome. I had some issues with mine trying to collapse the legs. The legs are weird. They sort of collapse up into the hips, and there's a thing that sort of stops them from moving, and you have to bend the leg a certain way before it'll collapse up. But apart from that, I mean, like I said, this thing has got amazing articulation, and it's Mastermind Creations build quality. The articulation, the transformation's a little bit involved, but it's an awesome figure, and I absolutely love it. It's great, fantastic. Typical Mastermind Creations figure. They do good stuff, and this is just another one of those figures that is just absolutely amazing. So yeah, Mastermind Creations reformatted Optus Nox. Then the following day, another MMC figure arrived that I pre-ordered off Kapow. Mentis. Mastermind Creations reformatted Mentis, their version of Rung from The Lost Light and More Than Meets the Eye. This thing's great. Obviously, he's got the little scooter that plugs onto his back. I mean, it does make him back heavy, and he won't stand up because he hasn't got any heel spurs as such. But you can unplug that. And he's transform it quickly. So then you got the little scooter that he can stand on and ride. He's a decent figure. I mean, the transformation is interesting. But the thing about Rung, now if you've read More Than Meets the Eye and The Lost Light, you might know a couple of things about this character. Now, spoilers, it's Primus, right? This guy is actually Primus. No, he's not the planet Cybertron. He's just like an everyday sort of bot representation of Primus. But it turns out, later on in the issues of the Lost Light, it turns out, oh yeah, Rung is actually Primus. And what he transforms into is also quite interesting. I mean, we got the Battlemaster version that came out. Was it part of the Siege or Earthrise line? And it's the first time we've actually got Rung in plastic form. So this guy made Rung a canon character, because previously he'd only been like a creation of James Roberts, I think, from the More Than Meets the Eye comic. But yeah, so Rung, and what Rung transformed into, I know it's in the Battlemaster, it's supposed to be a weapon, but actually that's what he transforms into. And the interesting thing is, in the issue of More Than Meets the Eye comic, issue number, is it 22? There's this section in the back there, and you can see there's Rung there. Look, Swerve is holding Rung, and the best bit is when he puts up his function card and it says ornament, because back in the days of the Functionists, they couldn't decide what rung transformed into, so they made up a function. They called him an ornament, so he transforms into an ornament. But yeah, this figure does that. It's a great rendition of the character. It's quite. There's a few little things, little tricks for transforming it, like the waist has to be pulled up and twizzled round, and when you're transforming it, you think, how the hell does that get round there? There's a little trick to transforming him. But he's a decent little figure, usual MMC build quality. I like him a lot. The only problem is he doesn't stand up particularly well with these feet. He has got ankle tilts, but he's I don't know what it is about him, especially when he's got his backpack on. He doesn't quite stand up properly, but that's the only major issue I have with him. He comes with a bunch of accessories. He comes with half a dozen heads and hands and things like that. And he's a limited edition as well, because he was supposed to be a convention exclusive at one of the American conventions, but they've done a limited production run on it. But he's going to be a difficult figure to get hold of. Fortunately I went on to Kapow when they had the pre-order up and managed to snag one. 110 quid though is a lot of money for a little figure this size. But still, Mastermind Creations, again, they're carrying on with the IDW stuff. So we got IDW run from Mastermind Creations in the form of reformatted Mentis. He's actually pretty good. And he arrived on the 17th, the day after Optus Nox. Right, so next we move on over to, Wednesday the 22nd. Now, I decided I wanted to do a pre-Christmas toy hunt this year. Now, it's kind of like an annual tradition that I have. In previous years, I've done it. I like to book the week off work, the week before Christmas, and then on the Wednesday, I will go on a toy hunt round Coventry. I'll go to Smith's, and then I used to go to Toys R Us, but of course, Toys R Us are no longer a thing. So now I just go to Smith's, maybe hit up some B&M home stores or some supermarkets, and then go into the town centre and go to Forbidden Planet. And maybe go through the town centre to Entertainer or something. That's the whole plan. Now, this year it looked like it might be possible to do this, because last year it was totally knocked on the head because we had that tier thing that they introduced coming into Christmas, when it started off with tier 3 and then it bumped it up to tier 4. So it was basically a Christmas lockdown last year. This year I was seriously worried that the government was going to initiate a circuit breaker lockdown pre-Christmas, because you've got the rise of the Omicron variant is getting into the country, and lots of people are going down with it. And they had this emergency vaccination booster program. I had to have I went to get my third booster jab, so I've been jabbed up 3 times now. And my company that I work for said, you've got to get a lateral flow test kit, and you've got to test yourself before you go back to work in January. And so I've had to get a lateral flow test kit, and I did before I went down with my sisters on Christmas Day, I sort of tested myself and it was negative, so I was all right. But I was worried that my plans for Christmas and New Year was going to get scuppered by the COVID. But unfortunately, the government held off. I mean, okay, they introduced that. What was it? Was it the Plan B, where you had to wear your mask in shops? You had to show your COVID pass to go into events and venues. And obviously, you had to, do the whole, hands, face, space stuff. And I was doing most of that anyway. But anyway, as it happens, I managed to book the week off work. And even though it was decidedly dodgy, I decided to do a pre-Christmas toy hunt. Now, I had planned to go into Smith's, B&M, and then go into town centre. Went into Smith's. They had stuff, but nothing that I really wanted. Most of the stuff they had on the shelf was stuff I had already. There was nothing else in there that I particularly wanted to buy, so Smith's was a bust. Went into B&M. Didn't see any bots in B&M. Well, any bots at all, really. In that B&M at the Airfield Retail Park hardly got any Transformers in. I did buy some other bits and pieces while I was in there that I needed. Like I got myself a sister a Christmas card, and I got some bits and pieces that I wanted to buy, foodstuffs and that, So I managed to pick up a few bits while I was in there. And then I went into Coventry Town Centre and went to Forbidden Planet. And while I was in Forbidden Planet, they had some bots. they had some Generation Selects figures in there, and I was looking at them thinking, do I need this? You know, I've got a bit of a taste for Generation Selects, but I sort of, because they had Artfire in there, and I was umming and ahhing, shall I get Artfire? I mean, I got Grapple and Inferno, and everybody's been raving about Artfire, and it's like, what should I get Artfire? Well, I passed on him, and then I went round to the comics and found that they actually had Shattered Glass issue 5 on the shelf, so I bought that, and this was the only thing I got on my Coventry Toy Hunt, a comic. I was kind of hoping that they would have the Wreckers, you know, Treads and Circuits issue 3, but they didn't seem to have that. But anyway, so I got this, and on reading this, where is it? You know, you got that final page and it says the end. So is this the final issue of IDW Shattered Glass? They seem to suggest that it is. Starscream's been basically killed. Goldbug's, you know, basically ripped out his spark, and they're taking it to Awaken the Titan, you know, and it's kind of something. It was an interesting issue. If this is the final issue, then I won't lose any sleep over it. I mean, it's been an okay run, but hasn't really done much, to be honest. I mean, there's been quite a bit of action in it, but, you know, they needed to elaborate on this fiction, really. They need to bring out more toys, more characters. Like if they did, you know, like the Earthrise Seeker mold in, you know, Shattered Glass Thunderclash colours, you know, that Harlequin colours. Oh, I'd be so on board with buying that. But anyway, got this. It could be the last issue of Shattered Glass, but we'll have to wait and see. And it was the only thing I got on my toy hunt round Coventry, which is a bit disappointing. I was kind of hoping to pick up some bots. But in the end, I didn't, so there we go. Now, something I had been thinking about getting while I was doing all this is... obviously, I've noticed that the Commander class Rodimus Prime has been cropping up at retail at various, you know, stores in the UK. Like Smiths have got it in stock. They had it in Forbidden Planet as well, and Argos in UK has also got it in stock. Now, certain suppliers are knocking it down in price. I mean, Smiths is doing it for is it $69.99? And they did have it on the shelf at Smiths when I went into Smiths. They did have Rodimus, but I wasn't prepared to, even though they've knocked him down in price to like sub 70 quid, I'm still a bit at paying that price for him. But when I got back home, I went into Argos and went to see if they'd got it in stock at my local Argos, but it turns out they hadn't. You had to order it online. So I came home a bit disappointed. But then when I was at home on the 22nd, I've got this, right? I get these every year from my work. It's like a shopping voucher card that you get. It's a prepaid, you know, shopping card. You know, you've got 30 quid on it, and you can redeem these in certain retail shops in the UK, including Argos. So I was thinking, well, Argos had marked down their Rodimus from about 95 quid down to 68. And I'm thinking, well, if I can go into Argos and redeem this against it, it means I can get it for less than 40 quid. So I went online when I got home, went onto Argos, went onto my local store, ordered it online. They said, oh no, we can get it in for later that day. And managed to redeem my what's it against it. So... I ordered it for, was it 38 quid? And I got the notification later in the day saying, oh, it's ready for collection, but I didn't want to go out again on the Wednesday. So I had to wait until the Friday, until the 24th. So on the 24th, I actually went out shopping to the local Sainsbury's, and of course my local Argos is now inside this Sainsbury's store. So I did my pre-Christmas shop where I was picking up the last couple of bits, and then I went over to the Argos counter, showed my passcode, and got me Kingdom Commander class Rodimus Prime, and is a Winnebago trailer. Now, I'd seen some reviews of this guy from various people, and some people were gushing over it. I mean, okay, yeah, it's a Commander class figure, and it's not much bigger than a Voyager. But then other people are saying, yeah, but look at the engineering that's gone into this thing. You know, look at the paintwork on it. You know, that's where the money's gone. You know, and all the accessories and stuff, and the trailer is just a Burusi bonus. Yeah, I suppose it is. So I ain't really got a thing against Rodimus. I've got a couple of Rodimus toys in my collection. I've got a G1, but it's just the robot. I haven't got the trailer. I've got the titanium one, which is one. Well, it's the only official figure that will transform from robot to Winnebago mode with no parts forming. I've also got the shattered glass version of the Power of the Primes. You know. Rodimus Unicronus. I've also got DX9's Terra as well, which is like another figure that will transform into the Winnebago mode without parts forming. So I've got a few versions of Rodimus, but this one. Now, yes, the transformation is quite involved, and yeah, you get a figure that looks pretty good. You know, sort of screen accurate. You know, he hides away the wheels. Some of the wheels took away, the others hide away completely. Mine has got QC issues on the robot. You know those little panels by the headlights that fold in, the little triangular panels? One of those is stupidly loose and always pops off when you're transforming it. Then these panels on the back. That one's clipping in now, but they seem to be clipping in now. But when I first transformed it, those panels did not want to clip in at all. And then, of course, there's the trailer. Now, there's videos on YouTube saying that when you transform it, you've got to fold these panels around on the gun mode. You've got to fold them up so that when you plug it in, and then but even though mine's still got it's still got that, and yes, I know there's a thing whereby apparently you can take these panels off and shave them down a little bit, and apparently that's supposed to help matters. But yeah, mine still does that. I'm not really bothered about it, to be honest. My main gripe is they haven't bothered to paint the bloody wheels again. I mean, what is that with Rodimus? They don't bother to paint his wheels. Even on the car, he hasn't got painted wheels. And it was like that with the Power of the Primes one. The Rodimus version had no painted wheels, and yet when they did the Rodimus Unicronus version, the black repaint, he had painted wheels. Does it hurt that much to put a bit of silver paint on the wheels? That's another gripe I've got levelled at it. I mean, it's an okay figure. Yeah, it's, the robot mode is pretty cool. Mine's got some QC issues, so that lowers my opinion of it slightly. He's got a slightly dour face that some people don't particularly like. But, some people are saying this thing's a mini masterpiece, and it's like, maybe it is. But, yeah, I managed to get it for 38 quid. I got it for less than 40 quid. So that's the biggest bonus I got with my figure. A Commander class figure for less than a Leader class. That's just the way I got it, because I was fortunate enough that I had this £30 sort of voucher card that I could redeem against it, and this is effectively free money, because I got given it by my work, and I can use it on whatever I want. And it was one of the shops that I could redeem that voucher at, and I used it to buy this. I mean, in past years I've had these, and I've gone to Toys R Us and bought bought that year's Titan class figure, with money off, or the last thing I bought from Toys R Us, which was it 3 years ago now? I got like the Cybertron, was it Mission to Cybertron, Toys R Us exclusive, repaint of the Cybertron Primus figure in those blue bowling ball colours, and I managed to get money off, and I got him for less than 20 quid, But yeah, these vouchers do come in handy, but it's you can't redeem them in certain stores. Like, you can't redeem them in Smith's, which is a shame, but you can redeem them in Argos and a few. Entertainer was another store you can redeem them at, but Entertainer was doing this guy at like nearly 100 quid, so I only would have got 30 quid off, and I would have only paid about. I would have ended up paying about 60 odd quid for him. So, but yeah, getting this from Argos with my 30 off voucher, I managed to get this thing for like less than 40 quid. So he's not that bad, really. I got him at a really good price. So yeah, got him on the 24th. So that was pre-Christmas stuff out the way. Obviously had Christmas, went down to my sister's, spent the day down there, came back Boxing Day morning. And then December 27th, NEC Toy Fair. Yeah, let's put my early bird sticker on. There we go. Yeah, so I was worried about the NEC Toy Fair getting cancelled for December 27th, mainly because the government had said they're not going to introduce any more COVID restrictions going into Christmas, but they were talking about introducing COVID restrictions the other side of Christmas. So I was thinking, right, they're just waiting for Boxing Day and then they're going to go bang, circuit breaker lockdown. But again, they didn't, and they still haven't. I mean, I'm filming this on the 30th and the government still haven't called a lockdown, but that's not to say they won't bring something in the new year. But anyway, NEC Toy Fair, I went there for 8 o'clock for the early bird opening, met up with my mate Richard, we walked around. And I took a little bit extra money with me. I decided I had about 90 quid left in my monthly budget, and I decided to take an extra 100 quid just in case. Because last time I went to the NEC Toy Fair back in October, I bought Masterpiece Ratchet for 100 quid, and he basically accounted for pretty much all the money I took just by buying one bot. And I thought, well, if the same thing happens again, I want to make sure that I've got a little bit extra cash so I can buy a few different items. And it proved to be the case. Anyway, so I was walking around. We got about a third of the way through the aisles, and I found a store, and I looked on the back, and he had a box of Takara Robot Masters figures, and I thought, I could go for that. So I got the double pack Robot Masters Thundercracker and Skywarp. So yeah, Takara Robot Masters, they were like a line that came out in the early 2000s where they were doing like G1 characters in a slightly smaller scale. I mean, I've got the Robot Masters Beast Wars Megatron up here. There you go. See, I've got Robot Masters Beast Wars Megatron on the shelf. So I've got him. I've got the Robot Masters Primal as well. But anyway, yeah. So they had the pair of Seeker Jets, 45 quid. They were boxed with their instructions. Yeah. So I thought, hell yeah, because I want it for Thundercracker because he's my secret choice. And okay, so I got a Brucey bonus Skywarp thrown into the deal. They're very basic, these figs. They are super, super basic. They've got no working knees. The legs barely move. They're just designed to sit on the shelf. Now they will transform into jet mode, as is proved here. But the jet's got like this stupid droopy nose. I don't know why it does that. I mean, the nose should be straighter, but I don't know why they've got the droopy nose on the jet mode. That doesn't look right to me. But anyway, Thundercracker's in that sort of pale blue, like the Toon Accurate blue colour scheme, which I'm not a fan of. I prefer the darker blue. But anyway, yeah, these are okay. I mean, I wanted to get a version of this, the Robot Masters Thundercracker anyway, so I just happened upon it, and it was a 2-pack with Skywarp, so what could you do? 45 quid for these two. So yeah, they were just over 20 quid each, which wasn't too bad, so I was quite happy to pick these guys up. And that was the first purchase I got at the NEC Toy Fair. And then, going around again, I got onto the right-hand wall. There's that guy sort of halfway along, and he comes from, was it King Street Toy Shop in Wolverhampton? I think Mr. Zortrider knows where he is, because he lives in Wolverhampton. Yeah, and I usually like to buy things from this guy, and he has a stall. It's got some Transformers on it and some other things, and he usually has a tray on the table with a load of loose stuff in plastic bags, and he has some box stuff on the shelves at the back. And I was just rummaging through his loose stuff, and I found a figure that I've been after quite recently. Beast Wars Transmetal Waspinator. Now, more recently, I picked up the Kingdom Waspinator. I've got the Thrilling 30s one on the shelf up there. And I decided, I want to get hold of the Waspinator molds. I also recently got the animated one as well. So I've got the animated one, Thrilling 30s, Kingdom, and I looked what other Waspinator molds are there. There's the original Beast Wars Waspinator, and then there's the Transmetal. I was trying to get hold of one of these. I was looking on eBay, and you wouldn't believe the prices this thing goes for on eBay. I'm not joking. I mean, most of the people selling this, either complete loose or boxed, they're asking like 60, 65, 70 quid for it, plus postage. And I thought, no way am I paying that. Anyway, so it turns out that my mate on the stall at the King Street stall, he had this loose one. It's complete, no instructions, just the loose figure. It was a bit dusty, but 25 quid, and I thought that's near enough, so I picked him up. Wasn't until I got home and started messing around with this thing's a right pile of junk. These bugs' legs just get in the way of everything. Look, the insect legs. They just what the hell are you supposed to do with them? They're so... They just get in the way. And this guy's a triple changer. Because he's a Transmetal, he's got 3 modes. He's got like robot mode, insect mode, and he's got like, he can kind of turn into like a seeker jet. That's all well and good, but the transformation on this thing it's not that good. And getting him into one mode or another without these stupid bugs legs getting in the way is a pain in the arse. It really is. So yeah, I'm not enjoying this mold at all. It's not the best Waspinator mold. I got to admit, it's a load of garbage, to be honest. But I wanted to get it because it's another a Waspinator mold that I needed for my pseudo character mold set collecting Waspinator. So yeah, I managed to get hold of him, but he's really not that good. And then finally, the final purchase of the month. Now, the reason I go to the NEC Toy Fair, or like to go to the NEC Toy Fair, as like an annual thing on December 27th, is it's the last bot buying day of the year. It's usually my last opportunity to go buy some bots before we roll over into the new year. And that's the reason why I like to do it. And it's like an annual tradition. I like to go to the NEC Toy Fair. And sometimes, I'll pick up some decent bots. And I always like to make a point of the last bot that I buy in any given year. That trend has been bucked a few years ago when I went to the NEC Toy Fair, and then a couple of days later, Capel delivered a Mastermind Creations figure that I'd pre-ordered, and it arrived on New Year's Eve, and it was like, what the hell, But anyway, now I said I took that extra £100, so I had about like 190 quid to play with at the NEC, and it was a good job that I did, because I decided to buy something that I'd seen before at a seller at the NEC Toy Fair. And it's the Geekology stand. Now, if you know the Geekology off YouTube, they're largely Star Trek fans. They have a channel which is, pretty much centered around Star Trek. But they're also Transformers fans as well. So they had this stall. The guy had a lot of, sort of like Earthrise, Studio Series, Kingdom and stuff on the stall. But he has some third-party bits as well. And I've seen before that he's had some of those Unrustable figures. These things. From Mayhem Mechanics, the Unrustable Bastards. He had a couple of these in the box, but this is my one that I bought at TF Nation off Mr. Unrustable himself, Sid Beckett, a few years ago. But they did some repaints of this mould. They did a white one called the Spectral Rogues, which is like a white repaint of that. But then they also did a limited edition red version called OTOMO. And it's because this bike has a somewhat resemblance to the motorcycle that Kaneda was riding in the cult, sort of anime movie Akira. They decided to do it up as like Kaneda's bike. So you get this in red, and then you get a bunch of stickers you can put on it to make it look like the iconic bike, futuristic bike that he had from the movie. And they apparently did a limited edition run of these figures of 500 units, and it's kind of rare and hard to get hold of. Geekology had one in stock, 110 quid. And I went and got it. Now, it's still in its box. So you can see there kind of what it looks like. You've got the sticker sheet shown there. And yeah. So I decided to buy this because I didn't need it because I've already got the original version of the mould. But I don't know. It's a rarity. It was 110 quid. It's a lot of money. But I know how rare this thing is. Like I said, according to the internet, they only made 500 of them. I reckon it probably isn't as many as that, but you never know. What we do know is that the company that made these, Mayhem Mechanics, went down the toilet. They went tits up. They've gone. They're not making any more moulds. I don't want to go into details. I mean, there's a lot of rumour and hearsay around what actually happened. I used to know Sid Beckett, and I had spoken to him about it a few times, and people who worked around him about it. And what the rumours that I heard about what actually happened to this company, it's not very good. But anyway, needless to say, we won't be seeing the likes of the Unrustables again. So what ones they've made, that's it. That's all there is. There is rumours that some company was trying to do knockoffs of the mould, but I don't know. I mean, I know Sid was running around desperately trying to stop that from happening. But I don't know what came of it because Sid had family in Bulgaria, and he was a bit worried about Brexit, so he apparently emigrated over to Bulgaria, and as far as I know, he's still over there. So I don't know what he's up to these days. But yeah, so I decided to buy this mainly as an investment because it's still sealed. It's still got its tape seals on that haven't been disturbed, and I've got no intention of opening this thing. I want to keep it as a sealed unit. But what I will say is that after getting that, and obviously owning the original sort of Kickstarter version, I would kind of like to get hold of the white version, the Spectral Rogues, and the Mr. Geekology has still got one in stock. We did have when I left the stall. Whether or not he'll have that again when the next NEC Toy Fair comes around in, is it March, the next one? Anyway, but there we go. That was the last item I bought this month, and that is my haul for December. So this bot sort of rounds off all the bots that I bought over the course of this year. It's my final bot. So let's get that off. Right, now if you've watched my haul my worst first and let's start again. If you've watched the last videos I've done over the last couple of days, my worst bots and my first bots or best bots of 2021, i.e. these guys here, then you'll know what's coming next. I did say in that video, or in those videos, that the bots I showed you for my December first and worst were spoilers. But anyway, I've got to do it. It's part of a gimmick that I have on these haul videos every time. So here we go. First and worst. So yeah, the first bot, I really like this thing, this Transform Element Stinger Warrior. It's absolutely amazing. For a Legend Scale Scorponok, it just nails the aesthetic in both modes. It's heavy, it's got decent build quality. Yeah, it's got a few minor QC issues, but nothing you can't work around. He looks awesome, and I will say I've got very strong first impressions with this thing when I got it out the box and first transformed it. It was such an enjoyable experience. It's kind of endeared itself to me, and that's part of the reason why this guy made it to be the best bot that I got this month, above other things that you've seen in this haul. And then the worst is Transmetal Waspinator. Like I said, getting this home, getting it out, playing with it, trying to transform it, it is not fun to transform. The bug's legs just get in the way of everything. They're sort of, they're sort of, some of them are ball jointed to his hips, so you can't get around. They don't move around properly out of the way. They're always around, and it's just makes this thing a right mare of a thing to transform, and it's just not fun to mess around with. And it mars the articulation on the robot mode for quite a bit. But yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of this. So that's the worst bot that I got this month. And that is it. That's 2021 for my channel, done and dusted. stick a fork in it. It's done. Yeah, so looking forward to 2022. I'm going to carry on the way I've always been going. I mean, some people might think that my format on my videos is very old and tired and I should mix things up and make things better. I don't see the point. I don't get the views or the subscriber count to warrant doing that. So anyway, there is something on Kapow that I've seen that I want to pull the trigger on tomorrow. Yeah, a little figure that was in stock on Kapow a couple of days ago. Hopefully it still is in stock, because that's something I'll be pulling the trigger on. Hopefully that'll be my first bot of 2022. But that's it. I'm going to carry on buying Korean toys. I mean, I'm hoping to, desperately hoping to, finish off the Hello Carbot Samba toy line in the new year, because I watched, or something that KR Brickbot said in one of his recent videos, is that potentially the new Hello Carbot Season 12 toy line is coming along in April, and it's like, if that's the case, when the new toy line comes along, the old toy line is going to get swept away, and it's going to be the new toy line. And yeah, so I've got 4 months to finish off the Tobot Samba toy line. That's no mean feat. I've only got 2 figures from the line so far, and there's still about another. Let me think. There's 6 Samba toys. There's 2 animals, and then there's the combiner. Yeah. Lot to get through, and as I'm only picking up 2 bots a month, it's going to be a challenge. But anyway, that's been me, TFR Wilderness. Hopefully you've enjoyed this haul video, and this is the final video of the year. I will see you guys in 2022. So with that said, I'll bid you adieu. Goodbye.